So, yeah, welcome to the next stage of this end-to-end data engineering project. At this stage, we're trying to create pipelines using Data Factory for the orchestration of the entire process or the entire work or workflow. So, yes, let's go about that. I'm going to go all the way to let's go all the way to data engineering again. Let's go all the way, or let's just go to our workspace. Let's head to our workspace, our base workspace, and let's from here let's go to our pipeline. We created a pipeline before. Let's go back to the pipeline and configure it way properly. So this will take a while to load. So yes, now we are in the data pipeline window or tab in Fabric, and we can just see one thing here, just our copy data activity. Where we're able to ingest data or get data from the Bing search API as a JSON file format. But the Bing new search API in Azure. This that's what happened here. That's what we have showing up right here. So what we want to do is, we have transformed our data and we have done the sentiment analysis. We want to add a new notebook to this. So this new notebook here, what's going to happen? We're going to connect it to our copy data activity. So basically, on success on getting the data, the next stage will be the data transformation that we already done. So in the next stage in the pipeline is transforming the data. So let's configure this notebook that we added properly. I would save it as data transformation, and I will go to the settings, the notebook now. Remember, we already have I've already done data transformation step in our notebook, but we're adding a notebook data pipeline. So we're connecting the notebook data pipeline we added to our actual data transformation notebook. That's what's going on. So this is good. This is awesome. One more thing we need to do is, of course, on success of this step of getting the data, of ingesting the data, the copy data activity basically, the next step is going to be the data transformation. So, of course, not done. We're not done yet. I like how it's going in terms of the settings, and we've connected it to the proper workspace, connecting this activity to the proper to proper activity. We'll also create a notebook because we also created a notebook, and in that notebook we did the sentiment analysis. Basically, we used the uh this we basically we were able to sentiment analysis predict. We're able to use a machine learning model to predict the sentiment, whether positive, negative, or neutral. So, of course, the correct workspace, that's good. So, what notebook are we connecting this to? Our new sentiment analysis notebook. So, what's going to happen is going to copy data from the Bing News search API in Azure. Of course, saves it as JSON format. So, in the data transformation, it transforms to a clean, well-structured data table with all the rows and columns that we want. And now, on success, the next stage is that this notebook now moves to another notebook pipeline. So on that notebook pipeline, in this notebook pipeline, the sentiment analysis is going on where, we predict the positive, whether it's a positive, negative, or neutral new sentiment. So that's what's going on. So I think we've been able to configure our pipeline. I think but we just need to make a few more edits to make this more awesome. All right, so this is what I'm going to do to make this a bit better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a parameter. I don't know if you remember when we were working on the copy data activity in the source of our data, we have the latest news. The keyword there is latest news. We configured this to be able to give us the latest news from the Bing search API. But what if we want to change this? I don't want to always be coming back to the source and be editing the search parameter from here. what I want to do is, what if you, how is make it so that I can easily be able to, you know, edit whatever search parameter. Let's say I want to search for Power Rangers, anime, Olympics, TikTok band that's going on. I can just easily edit the search without coming to the source. So I'll just click off of this. I'm going to add a new parameter. The new parameter, I'll just call it search parameter. Search parameter. Okay, let's give a dash instead of a space, underscore. Okay, set parameter a string. And the default value, I'll leave it as this latest news because that's what we're ingesting right now. So here's a new set parameter has been added. Let's go back to our copy data activity, relative URL. All right, now you can see one thing called add dynamic content. So what I'm going to do first of all, before I even start playing around with this, I'm just going to copy everything here. And in a new tab, this is very funny. I just opened an email. I'll paste it here so that I would see this is the normal parameter that's going on here. The latest news, freshness, that's what's going on. That's what's up. That's what's happening. Right? So that's what's going on. So I am going to go back. Oops, going to go back to this. I'm going to click on add dynamic content. So this is very important. That's why I copied and pasted that. And let it load, let it load. And you see that search parameter I created. Let's click on it. And you see something at pipeline, the parameters and set parameter. Basically, this is a script or code referring to the parameter, set parameter that's I added. So whatever value it is, it will be here. So if it's latest news, it's referring to the set parameter which I added. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it still on my email. And now what I'm meant to do is I'm going to replace this at pipeline with the parameter, whatever, with this latest news. So I'm going to replace latest news with this. So I'm just going to copy this again, paste it under, and where latest news is shown, I'm going to edit it to reference this pipeline. So in case I change the set parameter in the pipeline, it's good. So another thing is going to reflect what I just do. You see, it's going to reflect. So now what I'll do now is I'll copy this, go back to excuse me, my tab. Go back to the ingestion phase. All right, so I'll just press OK. Okay, yeah. But you see, you can see the reason why I copied it. Now it's changing the full thing in a way I don't like. So I'm just gonna cancel, paste this there, the new version. Yep, this is what I want. So let me preview data, see if it's actually latest news, because you're not seeing explicitly seeing latest news there. But now let's confirm whether it's actually latest news in the parameter that we added before. So it's just taking a while, but let preview set parameter value false. So maybe before I did this, I was meant to do something else. So yes, let me go and copy and paste this again. So let me copy and paste this now. This one, not again. So I just added this squiggly brackets to it to make everything work properly. I'm gonna copy this. So I actually did change the name to search instead of search parameter. So I'm gonna copy this back to the news ingestion pipeline. So I was receiving an error somewhere before. I had to change one of the things. So now I'm going to change how it appears, and let's preview the data. Okay. It seems the change might not be reflecting here. I'm just going to do it all the way here. I'm going to do it all the way here also. Let's click on OK. Let's preview my data. So this is taking a while. Yes. Hallelujah. So we have everything working and operating properly. So happy about that. So yeah, we can see our date published, and whenever we run this, it asks us to when that thing that you just saw pops up, where we can always edit the what's it called, to search term basically. So what popped up there, if you remember, you saw something search and everything, so you can always edit the search term that you want. So I click on preview, is asking me my search term again, so I can change it to something like anime or TikTok ban, for example. I click on it, and let's wait a while. Let's preview our data. Your TikTok ban has been what's going on. So okay, so we see news about TikTok ban, and yeah, this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. I might edit my data to be about TikTok ban, but who knows? So let me click on preview data again and leave it as latest news for now. Latest news. Latest news. And click on OK. So a TikTok ban will be a very good one for me because it's the latest. That's latest news. That's what's up um in the US right now. So yeah, this is very good. So at this point, we want to schedule the pipeline. I want to schedule the pipeline. Basically, I want it to run every day. I like this pipeline has been successfully created, but I want it to run every day by 6, let's say 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, so this way the pipeline automatically gets triggered by 6 a.m. in the morning. And of course, it will do the copy data activity, that's it ingest the latest news articles, and the transformation will happen on success. And the sentiment analysis will be predicted for the news on success of the transformation process. And of course, finally, the Power BI report will be updated with the latest news articles. So every morning you can come here, you view the Power BI report, you can see the latest news for the day, for the sentiments. As if you go to the Power BI section on Power BI, looking at the Power BI report and the dashboard, you'll be seeing the latest sentiments for the news, articles, and things like that. So I think that would be a very good use case. So let's stop talking too much and let's go ahead and schedule this. What's it called? What's the word? Let's configure the schedule refreshes per day. So click on the schedule button and something will pop up. Schedule. Okay, I'm going to click on schedule on by the minute. Nope. Daily time. We said around 6 o'clock, right? I don't know what's going on. It seems okay. Yeah, 6 o'clock. 6 a.m. in the morning. 6 a.m. in the morning should be good. 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay. And the start date will be today's date. Today's date is 19th January. And the end date, let's give it maybe still 19th January, but let's say 2026. 19th January 2026. That sounds nice. And I'm just gonna leave it as the default default time zone. I'm not gonna change anything there. So I like how it's going. So let's apply. So let's apply. Has it been applied? Next refresh in 19 hours. So yes, 19 hours, the next refresh should be configured, but we don't have to be waiting till 6 a.m. because no, we can easily just click and run, and that's what I'm going to do. So I need to test this. So I would click on run, save and run. Yes, please save and run. So let's click on it. We clicked on save and run, and now it's asking us the latest search term. I think I might just do this, make our search term about the TikTok ban. So I'll take TikTok because that's we're looking for the latest news, and that's one of the latest news in the world right now in the US. TikTok, and I think maybe I would also go back to my due to this. I'd also go back to my Power BI and edit the visuals to just give it that TikTok-ish color. So the pipeline is running. All right. So able I've been able to configure this connection. I'm going to go ahead and run the pipeline. And it's going to ask me a question, what do I want to search? I'm actually interested in searching about the TikTok ban that's going on in the United States right now. So I would search for a TikTok ban, I want to search for the sentiment of that. And now, as you can see, my pipeline begins to run. It begins to run. So it starts from the copy data activity where data is copied from the Bing search API on Azure. So, and it's copied, data is gotten from there and saved as a JSON file. That's what's happening there. So it runs the pipeline, it starts from there. And remember, these are pipelines from the copy data to the notebook for the transformation and a notebook for sentimental analysis. Each of them run in succession. From the copy to the notebook activity data transformation, the copy data will only move to the pipeline will only go to the next stage if it's in succession, if it's in success. So if the copy data activity works and you can see it succeeded, so if it succeeds, will the next stage or the next item in the pipeline run? So the first one ran, the copy data activity success, still running the pipeline. So it wants the next stage of the pipeline data transformation, where the data is transformed from a JSON structure, a JSON file to a clean structure delta table and saved in the Bing Lake database. So yeah, data transformation happens where we structure things in rows and columns, and we are able to get important things we wanted for our data. So everything structured in rows and columns, from JSON raw data to more cleaner data, so to a more transformed data for our use. So yeah, the pipeline might take time, it might take a few seconds, it might take a few minutes, but it runs. So only if this data transformation pipeline, this notebook that you see here, only if this data transformation stage or this notebook now, like only if this pipeline works, will the next one work. So there are two notebooks here, the data transformation notebook in the pipeline. So at first, okay, you can see it's success. It's a success. So it's succeeded. So the pipeline data transformation for transforming the notebook has been a success. So it moves on to run the next pipeline, so which is the sentiment analysis. So we already use pre-trained models to do that. And of course, it's checking from the data we have now, based on the data we have, based on the description column specifically, if you remember, is this news a positive news? Is it a negative news? Is it a neutral news? What's going on? So there's already pre-trained machine learning model that we imported, we brought in that helped us out with that, if you remember at the stage. So yes, so two stages or two activities in this pipeline have worked. So you see activity name, copy data, copy being news data succeeded. The next activity, which is the data transformation, with notebook, succeeded. And now the sentiment analysis is in progress. So I'm very sure this is going to work because I've tested a few things, I've had a few tries, had a few runs prior to this to see what works and what doesn't work. So everything has been optimized. So copy data activity, run and succeed. It's been a success. The notebook data activity, it's run and it's a success. So the next notebook activity, remember, we only it's only the pipeline will only get to that stage. The pipeline will only move to the next notebook activity if the previous one is a success. And I think this will be a success in about 2-3 seconds. I'm very sure about that. So it's been a success. So yes. So we have been able to configure our data pipeline properly. We've tested it. And yeah. At this point in time, I decided to make some key changes to my data set. So I had to go back to my semantic model because I noticed when I look at the date published column in my data set, when you go back to our dashboard in Power BI, I filtered it by the latest date published. And that's what I thought. When I went back to look at it, it was actually the first date published, meaning that the date type or the data type of the date published was not in the right format, it wasn't in the date format, so I filtered it wrongly. So I had to go and change the format. So you can see now check what's going on here. Change the format is now date. I had to go and change the publish format to be an appropriate date. And now I can be able to make use of this in my data set. So don't be surprised when you see my Power BI interface now. What I did was I just changed the background because I wanted to go for the TikTok ban data set. So I wanted to go for the sentiment of the TikTok ban in USA. So don't be surprised when you see my Power BI chart now. So this is how it's looking like. And if you go all the way to the publish that I was talking about, you see, it was before then it was the options you see is first and things like that. Now you can see latest because now it's actually in this format. So I click on latest. So and I apply the filter. So now it's going to be by latest date published. And I also change this to top two instead of top one. The top two date published. I think that'll be better. It will make sense more for my data set. So of course I make changes to the table. I also have to make changes to the what's it called, the slicers or sorry, the cards. So I'll make it the latest data published by the top two, and I'll apply this filter. That's very good. So now I can hide there and you'd see our charts popping up. So this is kind of going to be the output, it's probably the final output of what I'm doing in terms of the design because I went for the TikTok band data. So I just want to be about the new what's going on in the US in terms of the TikTok ban and everything, presidential inauguration stuff. So yes, hopefully the TikTok is gonna come back, but for my US audience, I have TikTok in Nigeria. I'm sorry about that. I am actually hearing news that TikTok is actually back in the US, it's back online. Albeit it might not be a permanent solution what's going on, but the news hasn't been confirmed yet from my end, but probably back online. Who knows? People in US know. So, but what am I trying to say? For people who joined at this point, like if you're watching this video at this point in time, and you're wondering what's going on with my dashboard, what's going on with my charts, actually, for extra context, we actually got our data from the Bing Search API on Azure, and everything we use in Azure were free resources. So using free resources, of course, is because of the financial strains on my end. But using resources means that there are a lot of restraints to what I could do with this data. There are a lot of restraints to the type or amount, to the amount, to the quantity, to the volume of data I could ingest. Because on the free tier, you are limited. You can't get as much data as you can or as needed. So I'd say this chart will not be a full I don't even think this chart can be a middle ground or full representation, what have you, of the actual sentiment or of actually how people feel on through the Bing Search API on the TikTok ban because I haven't gotten enough data. So that's what I want to say. The data is not enough to be conclusive that this is how the majority feel about the TikTok ban. It's probably not even close. But I just want to state that because of it's very important to know what's going on in your charts, know what you're making, know what you're building and things like that. But I'm very satisfied with the end-to-end project in terms of this part, building pipelines for orchestration. So we've used pipelines to orchestrate the entire process. I'm very satisfied with this, but I need to give extra context of the data because I use free tier, so I was limited on the amount of data I could ingest, the amount of data I could get. So I think that's very important to note. But in terms of building pipelines for orchestration, I'm very satisfied. Thank you very much.